Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is May 26th, and right now we're looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see our frontal system that was going through yesterday and overnight tonight. Brought some light rainfall across some areas, a little bit more for some others, and it brought around thunderstorms here. We'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at what is coming next when the next frontal system will reach the area, and what we can expect as we warm up a bit here for some of this week and probably in towards next weekend here as well. So taking a look at lightning strikes over the last 24 hours, just as advertised, kind of Cascades, Oregon, eastbound there. Look at some of southern Washington, probably Yakima, Tri-Cities. You guys probably heard that thunder moving across some of the Columbia Basin there, some in northeast Washington, up into the British Columbia higher terrain as well. And eastern Oregon got their fair share of lightning strikes yesterday as well. If you got any of that stuff, leave me some notifications on the Patreon page and send me your weather images if you would. And if you want your own affordable home weather station, this is the best one to buy. It's got a lightning detection system with it. Tells you how far away the lightning strikes are from your house. Does all kinds of other stuff as well. Highly recommend this station. Click on the link down below to save 10% off on one. So you can kind of see how the precipitation is moving across the area. I got about 7/100 of an inch at my house this morning, just enough to wet things. And if we go up towards Vancouver, looks like some moderate rain actually currently falling. Still some showers moving across the area, as you can see. Those will be on the decline here, but we have another frontal system moving in Wednesday night and on in through Thursday morning that we're going to take a look at here in a moment. And if you want, go to the Patreon page here. It is free to join. You can get all your updates. It does a very good job of updating you when I've released my videos, for example. And if you want to support the page, you can go ahead and go there as well. So anyway, take a look at thunderstorms today. You can see just clipping northeast Washington here. This system is kind of on the wane here across the region, but some of Idaho, Montana under the gun, as well as Wyoming, northeast Washington, portions of British Columbia as well. And you can see some of that severe weather bouncing around across portions of Texas. This is day two. That system moves off, and then we start to reintroduce thunderstorm threat here as we go on in through Thursday morning. You can see Cascades east again there as well. We'll take a look at the models on that here starting right now. 500 millibars, 18,000 feet. You guessed it. This is the system that moved through yesterday and last night. You can see that pinwheeling back up across the Gulf of Alaska. Ridge starts to build here, and we warm things up considerably so for some areas, especially as we go on into the day Wednesday. That ridge is slowly creeping off to the north and east, and we got this next system right there. That's the one coming on through Thursday morning. You can see that one move through, and then the ridge wants to rebuild here as we go towards the end of the week. Perhaps a nice weekend coming up, but troughing not too far away as we start to go through Saturday night into Sunday. Another trough setting up out here as well. More on that in the extended forecast. Taking a look here at what is going on here this morning. So this is where we are close to right about now, and you can see some residual showers out there, and the thunderstorm chances will be off to the east here across British Columbia there, the European showing some of the Rocky Mountains down towards Yellowstone. Also some residual showers as we go through today across the Cascades. And then western BC continues to get that precipitation. Vancouver Island northbound up there, and then we bring the next system in here as we go through the day Wednesday. A very warm day here across much of the region, but the frontal system not too far off our coastline as we go through Wednesday afternoon, and you see maybe a few showers starting to pop off across the Oregon Cascades. Can't rule out some lightning activity with that. And then we go through Thursday morning, and again the Cascades, maybe the east slopes there, subject to another round of thunderstorm activity here. You can see that move up across the area as we go through Thursday morning. A little bit less unstable here as this next frontal system rolls in for places west. We're not expecting thunderstorms here for southwest BC right now, Washington or Portland. You can't rule out a lightning strike with some of this activity here, but the vast majority of the lightning activity will be Cascades and eastbound. And then we start to scroll off in towards the weekend coming up here. You can see some precipitation for western BC, but nothing for southwest BC, Vancouver, Seattle, Portland. We start to head off in towards the weekend, and we're going to keep things quite dry and warm before that next trough. We'll see what that is going to do in some of the extended forecast runs. And one more time, looking at the Doppler radar as we go through the morning today, you can see some of this thunderstorm activity here as it pushes off to the north and east. Some residual showers around associated with this system, and then we scroll off in towards Tuesday, and you can see us really dry out, and we go through Tuesday night. Now we're headed off in towards Wednesday morning, and then you can see the next frontal system as we go through the day on Wednesday. So that's 60 hours out. This is about 5 p.m. on Wednesday. You can see that thunderstorm activity there across Oregon, Cascades, maybe Bend out there, getting some thunderstorm activity with the next frontal system right off the coastline. But a very warm day here across much of the region on the day Wednesday. So taking a look here, I do want to show you here because I'm probably going to go on my first dust double chase. You can see as you go on into the afternoon hours this time of year, just how dry things get east of the mountains. There you see these, relative humidity values dropping into the teens. We go on in towards Wednesday there. You can see it get pretty dry over there on a daily basis. Then we go through Thursday. The days I'm eyeing right now are Friday. You can see how things really get dry. The winds start to become much more favorable for dust devil development there. And then we go on in through the day Saturday. Look at this, maybe even some single digit relative humidities starting to show up a bit here and some very favorable winds for dust devil development out there. Trying to get out there and use my new drone, the Mavic 4, and kind of see what that will bring and just how good the camera is on that drone. So if I scroll out here really quickly here, bear with me, we're going to do the extended forecast next, but you can see on Friday the wind's starting to lighten up a bit here. Ritzville, Washington is my primary dust devil chasing area, and you see the winds lighten up a bit here, but still a little bit maybe on the breezy side there, but still probably a pretty good day. But as we go on through Saturday, check it out. You can see these easterly winds there, and they're really starting to lighten up a bit there by the time you get towards the afternoon hours, prime dust devil area here across, where Ritzville is right there. These light easterlies and the westerlies trying to come back. Probably some big boys out there on the day Saturday. So taking a look here, Seattle-Tacoma, I wanted to point that out on Wednesday. We're probably looking at upper 80s. This is going to be quite the shock to the system for many of the mossbacks here across the region. I know we're warming up a little bit here this time of year, but this is going to be a pretty warm day, 20 degrees warmer than where we have been for the last couple of days, for example. But then we cool things down. So it's just kind of a one-hit wonder there. But you can see the temperatures still into the 70s there. So pretty nice here across much of the area. This is the extended forecast as of last night. And again, very warm for the Wednesday time frame right there, and then we cool back down a little bit here. But look at the control run. It actually shows some pretty warm weather as we go through the early portion of June, the first week of June, and it is on the high side of what the ensembles are showing here. So we have some work to do in our forecast as we go through June 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Some again, the control run showing a pretty warm period here, but we'll be watching that over the next few days. Plenty of time to worry about that. And this is the next few days as well. You can kind of see these upper 60s, around 70 degrees, and some mid 70s, and spiked there on Wednesday into the upper 80s. Same thing on the GFS here as well, and it does not show that warmth off through through the extended forecast here. So again, a lot of work to do on our extended forecast. Don't get too hyped up yet on the first week of June being some kind of heat wave just yet. So looking at daily 2-meter max temperature, I'll put this into motion, and you can see there is Tuesday. We start to warm things up. That's today. You can see 67 for Seattle, up towards 70 for Portland, maybe 80 for Eastern Washington, Boise into the lower 80s. We go through Tuesday. We start to warm things up. Look at that. A lot of Western Oregon getting into the 80-degree region here, except for the coastal areas. And you see Seattle 75. But look at Wednesday again. Seattle probably upper 80s coming up here. Southwest BC warming up quite nicely. Some 90s showing up east of the mountains. Boise out there. Willamette Valley into the 80s as well. Then Thursday we cool back down yet again. Friday we start to bounce that heat back again a little bit here. Not quite as warm as Wednesday though. And then look at Saturday, quite toasty east of the mountains. Some mid 90s showing up there for the Tri-Cities there. Spokane up towards 90 degrees as well. And the Willamette Valley up into the upper 80s and maybe in some 90-degree readings out there yet again. And there's Sunday, start to cool things down a little bit. But we'll worry about what comes after that over the next few days. So here's 24-hour precipitation totals. And that was pretty spot on there. I got about 700 of an inch of rain right near SeaTac where I live. And then you can see as we go on in through the day Tuesday, we're waiting for the next system coming in on the day Wednesday. This is a running 24-hour total. And as we go through Wednesday afternoon, the European also showing some of this activity here. This would be convective, and that would probably bring some lightning strikes to the Oregon Cascades. Then we go through Thursday morning, and another round of thunderstorms here cropping up across the Cascades, moving up across Lake Chelan, maybe up or towards Okanagan River Valley, up into British Columbia. And then you can see Seattle picking up maybe a 1/10 of an inch of rain out of this. It's a little bit less for Portland, more for Southwest BC. It looks like a 1/3 of an inch of rain. Bellingham, 0.12, and some of the Washington coast, a 1/3 of an inch of rain, maybe a little bit more with that next system, and then we dry back out yet again as we head towards the weekend. So wider view of things here. Last night's European ensemble run here, this is actually, it doesn't go out too far, but that's 144 hours. There goes our warm up midweek, and then that next system cools us back down briefly. We warm back up again this weekend, and then that trough starts to show up here right there, and that's a closed low off the coast of California. But if we take a look at the extended one here, so there's the midweek warm up, system moves through, then there goes that next possible ridge building as we go on into early June. But will that be there, or will there be a trough setting up here? You can kind of see this trough set up as we go on in through the early portion of June. So again, a lot of model disagreement even between the European, its ensemble members, and the control run. This would be good for chasing across the high plains here, which just happens to be when I'm going out. And on that note here, for those of you guys still watching, a movie that I am kind of a big part of, and it's generally based about me out there storm chasing, has actually officially been funded. So that's going to be interesting. We're going to go out here probably in the first week of June, maybe the first 10 days, and shoot and hopefully get some nice storm escapes out there as well. So that is what I'll be doing here for probably the first 10 days of June. And hopefully this trough comes around here, because that would mean some active chasing weather. But anyway, you can also see this would be affecting our weather for the Pacific Northwest. And depending on just how close this ridge gets, of course, it could be some warm temperatures, or this trough could be a little bit further set back up and across Pacific Northwest, which of course would cool us down much more. So still some great uncertainty through the extended forecast. And you see how that troughing kind of hangs on across the west coast here as we go on into the first week of June. Then of course the ensembles get muddled the further you go out. Here's the 15-day precipitation anomaly on the European ensemble, kind of that below normal signal here across Pacific Northwest with that cutoff right across Vancouver Island. And they're going to look at the 6 to 10 day, the above normal signal there as we go through June 4th, but also showing up here, maybe picking up on some of this troughing as we start to head off into the early portion of June, the below average signal across some portions of the West Coast, Pacific Northwest. So anyway, click like and subscribe. We'll do this all again tomorrow. Lots of to watch here as we go on into the early portion of June, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.